In this WrestleTalk news, WWE is going to bring out Cody Rhodes neck tattoos. Yeah, I know, I'm surprised it took them this long too. Oh, and major heat on Sasha Banks and Naomi, how Vince McMahon reacted backstage, why the two walked out, wrestlers tweeted in support, and more heat sparking off from those tweets. Subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
So about those Cody Rhodes WWE neck tattoos. Talking to Sports Illustrated, Cody revealed temporary tattoos are going to be released by WWE Shop, meaning you too can soon have all the fun of a ridiculous neck tattoo without any of the lifelong regret. Cody said he was expecting people in WWE to bring the tattoo up more, but apparently Vince McMahon hasn't said anything negative about it. Good old level-headed, keeping his thoughts to himself, Vince. So Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out on Monday Night Raw this week. Shortly before Monday Night Raw went on air, women's tag team champions Banks and Naomi reportedly walked out on WWE because of creative frustrations. WWE then took the incredibly rare step of addressing these reports publicly, burying them both on air for being unprofessional and later releasing a statement apologizing for not being able to put on their planned main event, a six-pack challenge involving Banks and Naomi. I think that's the only time WWE have ever apologized to me for not putting on a match they said was going to happen. Watch our news video from yesterday to hear the immediate fallout of that, including one Twitter user seemingly connected to Naomi telling her side of the story by clicking the link at the top of the video description below. The initial hours following the news saw a number of conflicting details and versions. What the planned match was, who was going to lose, which producers were involved. PW Insider and Fightful have since issued updates. PW Insider claims Banks and Naomi were booked in 2 or 3 segments throughout Raw, building up the idea that the tag team champions will be opponents in the six-pack challenge in the main event, with the winner getting a Raw Women's title shot. Fightful writes Naomi was scheduled to win this by not pinning Sasha. Apparently she was supposed to pin Nikki ASH. Banks was going to celebrate with Naomi, and then Naomi would go on to Hell in a Cell to lose to Bianca Belair. Sasha, meanwhile, was going to do the same with the SmackDown Women's Championship, losing at the Premium Live event to Ronda Rousey. As PW Insider puts it, the women's tag team champions would have effectively been used to put over the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship title holders in the weeks ahead. Fightful adds the idea Banks and Naomi didn't want to work with the other women in the Raw main event is false. When producer Molly Holly confirmed to them that the singles titles was the direction for them, Banks and Naomi then told head of talent relations John Laurinaitis they were leaving Raw and left their tag titles behind. Both PW Insider and Fightful write the crux of the issue was that Banks and Naomi were dissatisfied with their long-term direction, or lack thereof, perceiving their tag team championship run as far more significant than WWE officials evidently do. There were no plans for the titles following June's Hell in a Cell. One claim is that they pitched a feud with Nikki ASH and Doudrop over the tag belts to Vince instead. Vince McMahon reportedly didn't take the news well, where he was told Banks and Naomi had walked out while he was sitting in the production's gorilla position just as, or right after, Raw went on air. Crucially, after they had just announced Banks and Naomi in the main event. Becky Lynch apparently then pitched a segment on the spot where she told Adam Pearce Banks and Naomi had walked out. Fightful report McMahon then fed the announced team lines, burying them both on commentary throughout the rest of the night. Before we get on with the rest of the episode, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to this video's sponsor, HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit that delivers mouth-watering seasonal recipes and fresh pre-measured ingredients right to your door. And if you click our link in the video description below, you'll get up to 16 free meals and 3 surprise gifts across 6 HelloFresh boxes, plus free shipping. Full disclosure, I can't cook. I was once asked to prepare a salad and I ended up roasting lettuce in the oven. But I can cook with HelloFresh. Each week I can select from 50 delicious meals that are always changing. I can get home-cooked meals designed to be fit and wholesome, keeping me healthy even when I've had a busy day, and my favorite part, all with the stress removed. The kind of stress that makes people cook lettuce. HelloFresh's step-by-step recipes are super easy to follow, and the pre-portioned ingredients mean eating healthy is both simpler and quicker. So try HelloFresh for yourself by clicking the link in the video description below, or by using our code POGWTMay16 at the checkout. And you'll get up to 16 free meals and 3 surprise gifts across 6 HelloFresh boxes, plus free shipping. And once you click the video description is going to update live to count up the purchases. What fun! Please at least click the link, as not only is the food great and convenient, it's also a great way to support us here at WrestleTalk. Given the last few years of WWE mass releasing talent, creative nonsense, and restricting wrestlers' third-party earnings, you might think that the roster would be in quiet support of Banks and Naomi defying management. But both Wade Keller of PW Torch and Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer Live has said that's far from the situation. Speaking on his VIP show, Keller revealed that the locker room and management are puzzled by the reaction and the actions of Sasha and Naomi. It feels weird, I'm told, how this all played out. People are just kind of shaking their heads. The instinct with the people that I'm communicating with is Sasha overreacting to a normal day at work and having been kind of worked up heading into today over some things that might not be all that worth getting worked up over. While Naomi and Banks standing up for their creative direction and more respect for the women's tag belts is commendable, the situation does feel more from out of nowhere than Randy Orton in a ninja suit. Unfortunately, the women's tag belts have been treated as an afterthought for most of the few years since their introduction, so the prevailing perspective backstage understandably appears to be, what did you guys expect, Banks and Naomi? What's next? Dana Brooke upset over the 24/7 title plans? To be fair though, that belt does feel like it's got more direction than the women's tag titles, and that's a belt once won by Peter Rosenberg. Keller continued, saying, "They're paid to play a role on TV, and WWE said that. Behind the scenes, there's not a ton of instant sympathy or a thought of like, finally they took a stand over this injustice that was going on. It's more like, what? Where did that come from? And how did they get themselves so worked up over this?" Very few things just spontaneously happen without any build-up though. While the situation might appear surprising to us and the WWE roster, whatever tension and frustration Banks and Naomi have been feeling has likely been festering for much longer. For instance, Sasha unfollowed both WWE and Vince McMahon over the weekend on Twitter. Not the most grown-up way to deal with a problem, but certainly a sign that there was unhappiness before Monday's events. Despite that, there is significant heat on her specifically, as Brian Alvarez has corroborated Keller's report, adding, "The funny thing is, this is all on Sasha. I haven't heard anything about Naomi. No one has even mentioned Naomi. It's all Sasha." Apparently very few people are sticking up for either of them. Alvarez presumes Jimmy Uso is defending Naomi behind the scenes as, you know, she's his wife, and that would make for a pretty awkward dinner time if he didn't. There have also been several WWE and AEW stars who have either cryptically or explicitly tweeted their support for them both. But Alvarez notes that he's mostly hearing negative comments about Banks backstage. Thanks for your support on Patreon, AA Ron Turner. If you want your own shout out, go over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Alvarez reports people behind the scenes aren't just not sticking up for her and Naomi, but they're calling them some derivative of the word mark. Mark, effing mark. A mark to a degree that is unfathomable. I have heard zero support for Sasha Banks in this situation. It's funny, because I haven't heard anyone say anything about Naomi, and she walked out too. It's all about Sasha. I've heard it all. Mark, Diva, the list goes on and on. There is zero support for Sasha Banks walking out of WWE over all of this. People are furious. They think it's ridiculous. Alvarez continues, saying Banks' actual co-workers are frustrated with her for not doing her job, especially when that job was, your tag partner wins tonight, you don't get pinned, and then you both get title matches at the next pay-per-view. And that's from wrestlers who are frequently given much worse creative and still go out and perform. So what happens now? PW Insider have speculated the wording of WWE's statement could be someone from WWE's legal department building the foundation for an argument that Banks and Naomi have potentially breached their WWE contracts, as they put WWE in a position where they could no longer deliver their advertised main event. That statement was likely a heat-of-the-moment reaction though, as PW Insider, The Wrestling Observer and Fightful have all said it is unlikely WWE will fire them, although they all do also add the caveat, never say never with WWE releases these days. What do you think will happen next with Banks and Naomi? Let me know in the comments down below. The situation is so explosive, it's even managed to create secondary arguments with other people who aren't directly involved. Matt Cardona, the former Zack Ryder in WWE, tweeted, "If I could go back in time, the night I was pushed off the stage in a wheelchair on Raw, I should have walked into Johnny Ace's office, placed my neck brace on the table, and walked out because I wasn't being respected enough as internet champion." Before you get angry, I think it's safe to assume this one is a work, with Cardona playing his heel troll character. Nobody told CM Punk that though, as he called out Cardona directly. If you'd go back in time to stand up for yourself, you should stand up the workers now. It's still real to Punk, damn it. And poor Corey Graves, I cannot believe I'm feeling sympathy for Corey Graves, was heavily criticised on Twitter for saying the lines Vince McMahon told him to, i.e., doing his job, which prompted his real-life wife Carmella to leap to his defense. Imagine still living in a world where you think he just says whatever he wants. He does his job, period. The famously airtight, just following orders defense. While AEW stars Punk and Dax Harwood have explicitly tweeted their support, it's more interesting to see what those in WWE are posting, especially with Alvarez's claims that Banks and Naomi have no one defending them in the company. The reality appears to be different, as both Bayley and Shayna Baszler have seemingly tweeted their support. And of course, there's always one, Road Dogg, thinks it's all a work. Speaking on Busted Open Radio, Mr. Dog speculated that because WWE addressed the situation publicly, it must be all a planned work. Just like Steve Austin walking out in 2002, the Montreal Screwjob, and Cody returning to AEW any minute now. Watch my review of the Walkout Raw to see how WWE changed their plans on the fly. Asuka took on Becky Lynch in a number one contenders match to fight Bianca Belair at Hell in a Cell. It's a shame, as Asuka vs Lynch could have been a pay-per-view worthy singles match all by itself, but it ended up on TV and only went 7 minutes. I would let them off because of mitigating circumstances, but they're doing the frickin' tag title unification on Friday.